Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another War of the Visions video, and today we are going to be doing a little Noctis guide for auto PvP specifically, and the main focus of this guide is going to be a build that I've been using a lot with Noctis that focuses on that move you just saw on screen, Point Warp. I call it Noctis the Mage Slayer build, and watch this. See how Halloween Little Leela just did like negative 500 damage to both Noctis and Winter Venera? That's because we built for Anti-Magic, and when you do that and you mix in some of Noctis's big time buffs, you literally don't have to care about the enemy mages, even if they're Little Leela. And especially this build I think is good for, fighting a lot of those Yuna, Starlight, Elena, King Jaden, all of those kind of teams that are floating around out there. Now, we're starting things off with a fight because I always think that's the most fun way to start off. So we were watching, Zazan take care of 2B over there. That's cool. Here's our Noctis putting their Noctis in the grave for the second time. And there's Little Leela punching, or there's Halloween, whatever. It's Christmas Venera because it's almost Christmas time. I wanted to bring her out. Punching Halloween Little Leela in the back. And what a way to celebrate Christmas that is. Now, there's Point Warp again coming out from Noctis, refreshing that spirit buff just in time for Little Leela to try and drop pumpkins on his head, but she forgot that, it's not Halloween time. Alright, it's not Halloween, it's Christmas, and guess what? She left Christmas Venera on the field, and she's gonna get Demon Purge to the face. Now, can Christmas Venera actually take down Halloween Little Leela? She's got a lot of spirit thanks to Noctis. She punches Leela in the dome, wins the fight, and we won a battle right there we probably didn't have any business being in. So how did we do that? What's the setup here? How does this Mage Slayer Noctis build work? That's what we're going to talk about right now. So let's jump out of this fight and let's go to our team comp. And while we're going there, I'm going to throw an infograph on the screen here. And this infograph is Noctis's AI flowchart. I will probably, pull this graphic up anytime I'm doing a video specifically over how to use Noctis in an AI controlled environment like Auto Battle. Now, the first thing I want you to know is he's a DPS unit at heart, right? His AI is a DPS AI. So if he's in range to do damage to the enemy, that's what he's gonna do. But before he gets in range to do damage to the enemy, that's where it's interesting. His first priority when he's out of range is group buffing. That means moves like Point Warp, which is the whole focus of this video. Or it could also mean TMRs like Starlight Elena's TMR Radiant Grace that you see on the screen here. You just have to play with them and figure out, will he use the TMR first or will he use Point Warp first? Because his AI is pretty finicky about when it uses TMRs. Radiant Grace, though, he will use that before Point Warp, so I actually had it turned off in the last fight. Now, Noctis, in my opinion, has two really core moves to his kit that define the version of him you're going to play. In this version, since it's an anti-mage version, we are going to be really playing around Point Warp. It's a spirit buff. Spirit buffs are really strong, especially in the current game where there's Starlight Elena, there's Yuna, there's Halloween Little Leela, King Jaden, all of whom can do less damage to you and your team if you can get a nice Point Warp buff off. So that is going to be the focus of this video, is Point Warp into damage, and I'm going to use, the Earth Squad you just saw on the screen. His other core move is Power of the True King. But if I bring that infograph back in, if I bring that infograph back up, this one, he won't use it in a lot of fights if you have other stuff turned on, because it's actually pretty far down his priority list. Now, after he uses his group buffs, or if you just have those all turned off, his AI will choose to either use a selfish TMR like Bells or a TMR buff that's only for himself, or Power of the True King. Now, sometimes he'll use Power of the True King after the TMR, sometimes he'll use it before. It just depends on the TMR, and you kind of got to play around with it to figure out which one is which. Bells, he will use before Power of the True King. Oldoa's TMR, for example, he will use after Power of the True King. So just mess with that if you're gonna, use a TMR on him. In this build, I leave it on because there's probably no way he's ever going to get to cast it because the current arena map is so short. Now, the other way to build this Mage Slayer is through vision cards and gear. I'm going to really look at the vision cards right here. We're using Halloween monsters. This is going to give spirit to the group, plus some agility. We're using Noctis's new vision card, which just gives us attack, dex, and magic resist up. Another reason Noctis is such a good anti-mage is his special vision card gives magic resist up. And then we got some accuracy, earth attack, and slash resist piercing rate from the solitary lion. Another card Noctis loves to be in a group with. Now, for this comp, let's go into a fight. We can talk a little bit more about the comp after we pick a fight, because one of the beauties of War of the Visions is you get to pick who you fight in PvP. You can build to beat things. We are building to try to beat mages right here. So of course, for the YouTube video, there's not going to be a single mage team on the picker. Okay, here we go, we found something. Here is a Frievia Valentine's Day Solier Aranea team. This is a very popular team in Arena right now, especially like near the top of Arena. We're kind of seeing this team a lot. And I want to show you with this fight a couple things. One is how easy it is to pull off this like Mage Slayer Noctis build. It's so simple. It's like a one turn and then you're in the fight thing. Really easy to do, and it's a team comp you can copy pretty easily. So here we go. Zazan's going to do his own thing. Here's Point Warp. There's the spirit buff for both Noctis and for our magic tank in Winter Venera. She's going to back that up with a resist magic buff from herself, and just like that, like we're off to the races. Good luck, Valentine's Day Solier, at killing either one of those two units. Now, meanwhile, on the right side of the screen, it ends up kind of being a duel over there between Zazan and whoever he's against. There's Warp Strike. Noctis is going to get in there and start doing some damage. And now here we go. Here's the Bombardment of Love from Valentine's Day Solier onto Noctis. It does 2970, which is like significant damage, but look at that. Noctis took both first attacks from that whole left side of the enemy formation, and he's at what? Half HP? Then he takes a cross discharge. That's the third attack he's eaten, and he's still fine. Our tank never even got off like a taunting spell to gather hate. It didn't matter. Didn't matter. Noctis just tanked everything up anyway because he's got all that spirit and magic resist, and he and Winter Venera just absolutely out 2v2'd the two ice mages on that side of the map. Okay, let's jump back into the team building screen real quick right here, and we'll kind of put a bow on this video. And we'll do that by just briefly talking about like Espers and Gear. Now, a lot of anti-magic teams in the game right now involve Starlight, Elena, Jaden, stuff like that. So I think you want to bring some accuracy. You can see I'm using an Alexandrite ring. Starlight Elena's TMR has some nice accuracy on it. Wolf Hat on Zazan. So adding a little accuracy is not a bad idea for this comp right now. And then for Espers, you guys, I really like Titan on our boy Noctis right here. Has a good amount of spirit, which synergizes really well with the buff we're focusing this build around. So Titan is my guy for this build. If you don't have Titan or you don't have him leveled up or whatever, just mix in a nice high damage Esper, or you can go Golem for a lot of defense. Look for things like Earth Attack, Slash Attack, that sort of thing for this build, and that's gonna do it. Okay, this was a really short and simple guide for how you can play Noctis in auto PvP, and I think we really touched on how his AI works. I would really like to know in the comments here if you liked this kind of a shorter guide. It's really easy to make, like, I say it's really easy to make. It's easy to end up making like a 20-minute guide video sometimes, because you get into all these little like nitty-gritty details that I don't think are applicable to like a ton of players. So I'm going for a more condensed version, give examples, show how the AI works, and show off a build specifically, and hope you guys can get something out of that, or at least like the video. These are fun videos to make, so it's just PvP and sort of like shoutcasting a match, which I love to do. So if you liked this format, please do let me know in the comments. If you didn't like this format, please let me know in the comments too, because I'm not gonna lie, a lot of times I learn a lot more from like criticism than I do from compliments, which is just something that like is true of most people. Anyway, I'm done. I'm rambling. See you guys later. Have a great weekend, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.